Welcome into another weekly recap. My name is Dane Stewart. Thrilled to bring you coverage from this last week in lacrosse. Of course, you can catch this every week on KSLSports.com as well as on the Utah Lacrosse podcast. And we want to thank our sponsors who make this recap possible. Heidemann and Associates, a full-service law firm. If you have any legal needs, they can take care of you. They can meet with you virtually. They can also meet with you in person as they have locations along the Wasatch Front. And it's a full-service law firm, so whatever you need, they'll take care of you. Just give them a call, 801-472-7742 to get a free consultation from the legal experts at Heidemann and Associates. And of course, we want to thank Tribal West Lacrosse, the premier destination for all of your lacrosse needs, be that team gear, sticks, meshing, string, whatever you have going on. Tribal West will take care of you. Visit their store, 9860 South, 700 East in Sandy. No one a better position to get you back out on the field quicker than Tribal West Lacrosse. Well, let's dive in. Had a great week this last week. And to kick things off, let's start a little bit with some college action. We've got Utah had their regular season finale, senior day this last weekend, playing Queens University of Charlotte. And this game was all Utah. Man, the Utes really jumped on the visiting Royals early. Led this game, I think it was 17-2 at the break. It might have been 17-2 at the break as they went on a 10-0 run in the second quarter. The seniors came out to play. Big night for Jordan Hyde, as well as Ryan Steins. Had a lot of different goalies play for Utah, as got a lot of seniors in, as well as some depth minutes for the Utah Utes, as the win helped Utah clinch their third straight regular season conference title. This is a shared title with Jacksonville and Air Force, but via the tiebreak, Utah getting the number one overall seed in the ASUN Conference tournament. So they'll enjoy a first-round bye and auto bid to the semifinal, where they will take on the winner of Cleveland State and Bellarmine. That game will be Friday morning. But Utah, with their third straight regular season ASUN Conference title, congratulations to the Utes on another big year and a season that started 0-3. And again, against top 20 teams, those first 3 weeks into the season went on, you saw just how good those teams were. But this Utah team looks well positioned to make a run for another tournament conference championship. And with that, could get another bid to an NCAA tournament where anything can happen. So great turnaround from the Utes. Love to see the experience really deliver in the way that we expected that group to do so this year. Great seeing Andriella back, seeing some of the youth in the back end of that Utah team as well step up and make big plays as we hit conference play. But best wishes to the Utes this week as the ASUN Conference Tournament will be at Air Force in Colorado Springs. And, of course, the game that will be interesting will be that other semifinal, potential Air Force Jacksonville matchup in that other semi. And if Utah could take care of business, could potentially play the winner of them for that championship in the ASUN Conference Tournament. So we'll all be watching this weekend. Go Utes, and great to see them with another regular season conference title. All right, for high school action this week, we got a lot of stuff we want to touch on. But to start off, our opening face-off today, brought to you by Heidemann Associates. We want to thank had someone reach out to us and keep us honest here as we're trying to track the state. We tell you if there's anything we're missing, please let us know. I want to thank Coach Braska at Judge for sending us this note. We missed this last week, but as they say, better late than never. We had another coach solidify their place amongst some of the greatest, as Troy Oldham, the head coach at Green Canyon, notched his 100th win as a coach this season. Coach, congratulations on that. Joins a very exclusive club. Dave Allen, Patrick Lambert, Craig Morris, Dave Bratton, Marty Westcott, Mark Roothoff, John Holmes, Trevor Yoakum, Brandon Haroba, Aaron Ika. There are some current head coaches in there, Yoakum, Haroba, Ika, and now Coach Oldham at Green Canyon. Coach, congratulations on notching your 100th victory this year for Green Canyon. And look, we'll talk a little bit about that Region 11, some of the teams in that region. But I want to thank Coach Braska for sending us that note. And again, wanted to make certain we gave Coach Oldham a shout out. Back-to-back state championships at Green Canyon, done a great job of getting that program running and quickly for the Wolves. So, Coach, congratulations on 100 career victories. Well, with that, we do want to dive in. We're going to start with the girls this week. Had some nice games this last week that we want to touch on, but our result of the week on the girls' side, how about a big upset coming in Region 2, as this looked like it might be Riverton and Mountain Ridge with a rematch for a potential region championship, and the Bingham Miners just decided to mess that all up for the Mountain Ridge Sentinels as Bingham gets the 13-12 upset victory over Mountain Ridge. Sophie Curtis had 4 goals and 2 assists. Megan 2 had 3 goals, and Morgan Edmond had 8 saves as Bingham gets the upset win over Mountain Ridge. Big win for the Miners, and now Mountain Ridge in a must-win situation once that Riverton game comes around if the Sentinels want any hope at a region championship this year. That would certainly have huge RPI implications, but Bingham with a shot, saying, letting all of 6A know this minor group got to keep an eye out for them. And we'll talk about that Riverton Mountain Ridge game because it's coming up this week. Actually, that will be a good one. For 4A, let's recap on some 4A games from this last week. We were interested in Ridgeline Bear River. Could the Riverhawks give Bear River much of a contest? This is all Bears. 17-1, Bear River with another decisive win as they continue to flex their muscle. And then we also want to shout out Juan Diego getting a nice win over Judge, 16-3, the victory for the Soaring Eagle. And how about a big win for Timpanogos, talking about 4A down in Region 8 as they get the win over Provo. Timpanogos staying within reach of the Payson Lions for a potential region championship there in Region 8. Let's move to 5A, some interesting games. We'll start with Region 7, and Cedar Valley got off to such a strong start. How about Salem Hills this week? Handed Cedar Valley their first region loss of the year, 11-6. The Skyhawks got the big win. They remain undefeated in region play at the time of recording. Of course, this is before any games have been played this week. Salem Hills sitting at 3-0 in region, Maple Mountain 4-0 in region. Those two seeming to be on a collision course. Wasatch, 2-1 in region play. They've looked strong. Cedar Valley as well, the top of that Region 7, looking really, really deep. We talked about a big game this week, 1 versus 2. Park City hosting West Jordan, and Park City came out blazing. My goodness, the Miners struck silver early, and it was a 22-4 rout for the Miners in this one. Great balance. I think they had 3 or 4 players with hat tricks in this game. Really, they didn't get tested much defensively, really made it difficult for West Jordan to get much possession. The Hendersons had a couple of goals, but in this one, it was the Park City defense able to get possession quickly, dominated with their speed through the midfield. Jacobelli was fantastic with her speed and transition, and the offense for Park City was humming, clicking as Park City gets the decisive win. It won't get easier for Park City. They've got some big matchups this week. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. And how about in Region 5? Woods Cross had a big game this last week, taking on Bountiful. Great rivalry matchup there in North Salt Lake / Bountiful, and it was Woods Cross with a 14-8 victory. The Wildcats able to take care of business against the Bountiful Redhawks as Woods Cross remaining undefeated. And how about Box Elder with a nice region upset win over Viewmont? Of course, that's kind of a 2-3 matchup in that Region 5, but Box Elder with a big win, 18-9 over Viewmont. Woods Cross will play Viewmont this week on Wednesday. That could have been for a potential shared region title, but since Box Elder had defeated Viewmont, now the Vikings 2 games down of Woods Cross. They need that win on Wednesday, plus some help if they want to still have a shot at a region title. Meanwhile, in case you haven't noticed, Woods Cross still undefeated. How about the Wildcats? Man, what a job they're doing in North Salt Lake. 12-0 on the year, 11-0 in region. Woods Cross, man, impressive job this year. We talk about other notable games this week. Olympus at Park City. When we said it won't get any easier for Park City, we were not kidding. And when you look at 5A, this is a 1 versus 3 matchup because the undefeated Woods Cross Wildcats back in that 2 spot. But Olympus sitting at number 3, their only loss coming out of state. Park City, their only loss coming out of state. These 2 teams both undefeated in Region 6 play, the top of the region on the line for these 2, as well as potentially a top seeding in 5A by the time it's all said and done. Olympus at Park City Wednesday night, that will be a barn burner. A good one for sure. And then we mentioned Salem Hills, Maple Mountain, both undefeated. They're playing this week as well. Salem Hills at Maple Mountain. That game will be Wednesday. So you've got 1 versus 2 matchups in every region in 5A this week. Oh, big week for 5A and for those teams that have hopes of region titles. Let's move to 6A, shall we? And for 6A, it was Pleasant Grove. I was going to say Pleasant View. Pleasant Grove Vikings that had a couple early wins to help set themselves atop Region 3. Lone Peak got some revenge this week. A 12-6 win for the Knights as they have won 5 straight now, Lone Peak has, to launch themselves up into first place. 7-1 in region are the Lone Peak Knights, looking really strong. How about in Region 2? We talk about the big win for Bingham. Riverton able to knock off the Miners this last week, 18-12. And then Farmington getting a nice win to remain atop Region 1 as they defeated Davis this week, 15-7. All right, caught up on some of the girls' games. Let's switch over to the boys' games. And we're going to, last week we did not, well, before we do that, let's talk about the result of the week. And don't have anything reported, so we're going to have to ask for your patience on this, but we're going to start in 6A. Remember, Fremont got off to a tough start in Region 1, dropped their first 2 region contests. They've been coming back and strong. They took on Farmington this last week, Fremont did. They get a 13-6 victory over Farmington. So Fremont, Farmington, both at 5-2 in region. Davis sitting at 6-1. And, well, just like on the girls' side in 5A, we've got a matchup coming up this week between those two. We'll get to that one in a little bit. How about the match of the week this week? Well, we'll get there as we go through it. Let's start in 4A, and we are bringing back our Magic 8 Ball. Yeah, we put it on suspension for a week. It learned its lesson, hopefully, and we'll see how it goes. So here's our first question. In 4A, we're going to start with a 4A question. Can anyone challenge Region 10 for a 4A state title? And our Magic 8 Ball says, concentrate and ask again. It's like it didn't even learn. Here we go. It is certain that someone out of Region 10 can contend with a Region 10 team for a 4A state title. Let me ask another question of the Magic 8 Ball, because this might be a little alluding to my answer. My question is, does bringing me cheese curds to a state championship game land a soft spot in my heart for a program? And the answer is decidedly so, because it is. Skyview, the Bobcats brought me cheese curds last year at the state tournament. Skyview, I've not forgotten. How about the Skyview Bobcats sitting at 6-0 in Region 11, 9-4 on the year. Green Canyon, Ridgeline, both 2 games back of the Bobcats, but Skyview looking really, really strong in region play. And when you talk about is there a team that could compete with a Region 10 team, I think Skyview's one that could. Building a lot of momentum here are the Bobcats. That would be an interesting matchup. But I do think Judge, Juan Diego, 1, 2, even though the RPI has Juan Diego 1, Judge 2, I think those are the 2 best teams. And hey, let's talk about our match of the week coming up this week, because Juan Diego at Judge, this game will be, you guessed it, Wednesday night. Juan Diego at Judge. The first matchup was an absolute battle. Judge jumped out to a 10-0 lead before Juan Diego went on a big run in the fourth quarter. Actually, I think it was 10-2. My apologies. I think it was 10-2. And then a 6-0 fourth quarter for Juan Diego. Came storming back, just ran out of time as Judge was able to hold on to the 10-8 win to hand Juan Diego the loss. But, man, that was a heck of a battle, and we get round 2 this week. Very different offenses. For Juan Diego, Wigton's got 35 goals, Stoltz 25, Schuler 24. Lund's been really strong between the pipes this year, almost a .650 save percentage. For Judge, Rome Swanik. If you haven't seen this kid play, I mean, this kid is phenomenal. Heck of a scorer. He's got 50 goals in just 12 games this year. For Judge, you got Gowski, Jerome, and Wood. They're all hovering around the 20 goals this year as well. Knight's been good between the pipes. This is strength on strength. I think the 2 best teams in 4A, they're rated that way in the RPI. I think these are the 2 favorites to get to a championship game, and we get the second version of it this week at Judge. That's our boys' match of the week. Head on out to Judge Memorial. go see a great lacrosse game, Juan Diego at Judge. Let's talk about some other action this last week. We talked about Skyview. They got a big 8-7 win over Ridgeline. Meanwhile, Green Canyon also defeated Ridgeline this last week, 6-3. That's why you've got kind of that two-way tie for second place with the Wolves and the Riverhawks in Region 11. Let's bump to 5A. We got another question for our Magic 8 Ball. Our question being, we saw this team a couple weeks ago, is Brighton the best team in the state? Here we go. Ask again later. These 8 balls, man. Outlook good. I think Brighton is the best team in the state. We had a chance to see them against Olympus. I know that game was 2 weeks old. Brighton continues to win games and win games through a plethora of different ways. This week, we saw a Brighton 2 weeks ago against Olympus. Heck of a physical battle. This week, Brighton had to take on East in a very low-scoring affair, but Brighton gets the win 5-3 over East in that one to remain undefeated. And for those of you who are like, oh, well, Brighton's offense isn't any good. No, it's a really good East defense, but this Brighton team, they don't have to go and light you up for 12, 14, 16 goals. They can beat you a multitude of different ways. We talk about how strong they are in cage. Their defense is physical, it's big, it's long, and their offense, man, they got guys that can score. They move the ball well, extremely quick. Brighton can't be more impressed with the team than we have been from the Brighton Bengals this year. And through 14 games on the season, just giving up 53 goals. I mean, that's remarkable. I think it's the lowest scoring or the best scoring defense in all the state. By comparison, Davis has given up 52 goals in 3 less games. So that Brighton defense is legit, and their offense, they're scoring at a rate that not a lot of teams are scoring at right now. So, man, this Brighton team I think they are the best team in the state. The Magic 8 Ball thought so as well. Let's recap some of the region action this last week. Wasatch getting a nice 13-5 win over Spanish Fork, as now 3 teams sitting at 2-1 in Region 7, Spanish Fork, Wasatch, and Salem Hills. Maple Mountain still undefeated at 2-0. Spanish Fork at Maple, that game will be this Friday. 2 of the top teams in Region 7 going head-to-head. We talked about action this last week in Region 6 for Brighton. Ole also had to take on East 10-3. The advantage, Ole gets the win as they remain within reaching grasp of the top of Region 6. And how about Park City? 14-8 the victory over Highland, as Highland was so good in that non-region play. They've dropped a few games. Slipping down the standings are the Highland Rams. A couple big games this week. Park City at Olympus. Look, it's time for Park City, Olympus, and Brighton to get those matchups done. We already saw Brighton beat Olympus, but Park City will have to take on Brighton and Olympus here in the next couple of weeks, and it starts this week. Park City at Olympus. That game will be Wednesday. Who makes these schedules up, man? We can't have all these games on the same night. Park City at Olympus, Wednesday night. That will be a doozy, as these 2 teams have combined 21-3 and 9-1 in region play. Another big game this week, middle of the region, will be big for RPI. East at Alta. Can East generate enough offense? They've been stuck on 3 goals the last couple of games, but that's against 2 of the best teams in this region in Brighton and Olympus. Can East find their offense against Alta and get what would be a big win for the Leopards for their RPI here in the back half of region? Let's move to Region 5. Couple of games in Region 5 to catch up on. How about Bountiful? Good week for the Redhawks. They go 2-0. They defeat Box Elder decisively, 22-13. That was a Box Elder team that had not lost a region game. They were looking really, really good. And Bountiful, my goodness, taking care of business that night. And then Bountiful getting the win against their rival Woods Cross, 13-7, as Bountiful now sitting at 3-1, just a game out of the top of that region, which is held by the Northridge Knights. Coach Reed Keller. Look, just his second year of that program, I believe, maybe third. But what a job he's done of getting that program to competing for region championships early, sitting at 9-3 on the year, 4-0 in region play. Best region defense, best region offense for Coach Keller and the Knights. And they've got a big one coming up this week as they'll be hosting Box Elder. We'll be at that game. That game will be Tuesday night, in case this hasn't already aired by then. Tuesday night, Box Elder at Northridge. We'll have that game streamed for you on KSLSports.com. Another game to keep an eye on. This is a big one for Region 5. Bountiful at Roy. Remember, Roy lost early in their region schedule. They're sitting at 3-1. That defense has dialed things back in for the Roy Royals as they and Bountiful both at 3-1. Important game for one of those teams to stay within stride of Northridge. All right, let's move to 6A. We got one more Magic 8-Ball question, and the question is Davis the best team positioned to compete with Corner Canyon in 6A? And the 8-Ball says yes, definitely. This is a team in the Davis Darts. We talked about their defense, allowing 52 goals through 11 games. How about these notes for Davis? They are there's two ways you can look at this. They're undefeated when they score 7 or more goals. They're 0-2 when they score less than 7. But the other thing that's all the more intriguing, they have not allowed double-digit goals in a game yet this season. Not once. Every opponent's been held under 10 for the Davis Darts. Davis, if you're with me, knock on wood. An impressive start for that defense. And when that offense can find enough goals, they're hard to beat, just because they don't allow much from their opponents. And they did have a loss this week. They dropped one to Farmington. It makes Region 1 really interesting, as we'll get to that in a little bit. But this Davis team, look, if they can get to 10 goals, their defense has been strong enough that it's difficult for teams to overcome them. And for those who say, Region 1 is not the same part, they beat American Fork. They beat Westlake. Those are both two teams that have been in the top 5 of 6A this year, and they're both sitting in the top 10. So they haven't played Corner Canyon. I don't know what they would do against Corner Canyon, but I think that they've been tested with some of the top teams in Region 3. It'd be interesting if Davis could be a team to compete with Corner Canyon for a potential 6A championship. Let's start, though, down in Region 3. A big game this last week, American Fork and Westlake. These were two teams both sitting at 2-0 in region play. And American Fork coming up with the 11-9 victory over the Thunder, as AF and Lone Peak both sitting undefeated in region play atop Region 3. And they will play this week. Thankfully, that'll be on Thursday. So we're going to try to get out to that game. We'll see if we can make that happen for a live stream. Lone Peak and American Fork for the top of Region 3 on the line this week. Lone Peak also has a game prior to then taking on Westlake. That'll be a critical game for Westlake, as if Westlake can get a win there and hope for a Lone Peak win, then you could potentially have a 3-way tie atop Region 3. It can get real sticky real fast down in Utah County. Let's go to Region 2. Big game this last week. Bingham got a win over Riverton, 14-8, and Bingham 2 games back of Corner Canyon. They'll play Corner Canyon this week, Tuesday night, Bingham Corner Canyon, as Corner has a 2-game lead. This could potentially all but tighten, I don't want to say assure, but would make it really difficult for any other team to come and get a share of that Region 2 championship if Corner could come out with a win. In fact, it would assure Corner a region championship, because they just have 2 region games left to go. By the way, for those keeping track, Corner will wrap up the season with Olympus and Park City. Those will be good games. We'll see if we can get out to those. Region 1, we already talked a little bit about Davis. We talked about they dropped a game this week to Farmington. Fremont got a win over Farmington then. So Farmington defeats Davis 7-6. Fremont gets revenge on Farmington 13-6. And this week, you've got Fremont at Davis. This is 2 versus 1 in that region. And this is really the hope for all 3 of those teams at a region title. Davis wins, and they'll have a 1-game lead over Farmington. Davis loses, and you could have a 3-way tie for first place atop Region 1. That game Tuesday afternoon at Davis. One other game to keep an eye on, Weber at Farmington, as the Weber Warriors continue to be strong this year. Tough group for Coach Allred. Be interesting to see what they have ready to go in that one. We'll give you a quick update of the RPI in both girls and boys. Not a lot of changes in 4A. Bear River number 1, Payson 2, Timpanogos 3, Juan Diego 4. In 5A for girls, Park City 1, Woods Cross back to number 2, Olympus moving up to number 3, and West Jordan falling to number 4 after losing to Park City. And in 6A for girls, Riverton sitting atop at number 1, Farmington number 2, Fremont 3, and Mountain Ridge at 4. On the boys side, 4A, Juan Diego 1, Judge 2. We talked about that. Skyview number 3, Payson sitting at number 4. For 5A, Brighton number 1, Olympus number 2, Park City number 3. No surprise there. 3 strongest teams coming out of Region 6. Northridge at number 4, leading the way for Region 5. And in 6A, Corner number 1, Davis number 2, Farmington number 3, and Fremont number 4 is Region 1 well represented on the boys' side. All right, we talked about a lot of great games this week. There's games every night. Get out, check them out. Great action going on the high school scene on both boys and girls. Of course, we want to remind you, we've got streams coming up Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. Tuesday, we'll have Box Elder at Northridge. Wednesday night, we'll do a girls game, Highland at Brighton, senior night at Brighton High School. And then on Thursday night, we're going to try to get down to Westlake for that Lone Peak, or down to American Fork for that Westlake. We're going to try to get down to American Fork for that Lone Peak and American Fork game between the two teams sitting atop Region 3. Great action this week. Get out, go support your local program, go catch some of these great games. You think about how many 1 versus 2 matchups we have coming up this week alone. Feels like there's 5 or 6 of them between boys and girls. Great action coming up. Get out and support it. And if there's anything you want us to cover, news that we're missing, notes that we're missing, please hit us up on social media at Dane_Stewart or at KSL Sports Rewind. Let us know news, notes that we need to be sharing as we try to bring you the best lacrosse action each week right here on KSL Sports Rewind and on the Utah Lacrosse Podcast. Also, one more time, go thank our sponsors. Heidemann and Associates, a full-service law firm. To learn more about their offerings, visit them online at utah.law, and of course, Tribal West, serving your lacrosse needs, whatever that might be, sticks, gear, other equipment, stringing. They'll take care of you. Visit them at 9860 South 700 East in Sandy. Support our sponsors who help bring this coverage to you. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next week with more coach interviews and recaps right here on KSLSports.com and on the Utah Lacrosse Podcast. Have a great week, and we'll see you next week.